Well, we'll see if we got that old Friday spirit on tap. It's gray and it's cold.
Yeah.
It is gray and it's cold, but it's also Friday, which is super important because it's Friday, and I guess it's time for mail call. I think it's mail call 210.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All you wrote on it was mail call questions, so I
Well,
have no idea.
I'm pretty sure this is mail call 210.
Oh,
I don't think I'm wrong.
I have no idea.
She doesn't? Okay. Well, before we get to questions, do you want to do a wrist check?
Sure.
Wrist check. There we go. Oh, yeah, Lander on 248 Zodiac. That's a great watch.
I forgot I had it, and then I was like, hey, look, there's that watch.
Yeah, we finally got Sabrina a watch box.
That's too small.
Already? Really? It's got 10 slots. Wow, I can give you the other big brown
No,
one.
I hate that one. It's so ugly.
I want to get a wall mount thing. Anyway, this is a Lander on 248. They're just beautiful movements. This is a great watch. So this is a 7828 7030. It's the 7828 Pogue. I never had one of these before. This one, the orange hands had faded down to almost white, as these do. They fade pretty quickly. So that's my new tint mix I made up to replicate the correct orange that these were. This hand's slightly misaligned. I'm gonna have to redo that. That's a really nice movement, though. It's a nice watch, and the beautiful gold. Beautiful gold. Oh no, it's a kitty.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Can't you see? You're just the only kitty for me. Kitty.
Why isn't she screaming?
I don't know. What? You're a good kitty. Okay.
Psst, psst, psst. Get her to scream.
Why isn't she yelling? What? Where? No, she's not. We can go for it, man.
Okay. XYZ chain 4199. Petition to make the cat the channel's mascot. She already is.
It's true.
I made a point of putting her on the business cards I made that are too femmy and girly and Etsy and artsy.
I have my own preference for how my business cards look, and yours are really cool and they're crafty and they're crunchy and Etsy-y and all that kind of stuff. I have a very specific aesthetic that I like for my watch work.
So here's the thing, though. What?
I'm looking to see if I have one of my old cards around here. Anyway, what's the thing.
We were out of business cards and you wouldn't make them, so that's what happened.
In my defense, it was a trying time. I'm gonna I just wish I could bring up the old ones. Some of my old patterns designs I really, really like.
This is driving me crazy. There.
And but I can't find the orders anymore. I'm really sad about that.
Did you try and sign in a different email?
Didn't occur to me.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay. It's a Bell-tastic evening with the Seiko. Matt Cameron 9349. I have a Bell-Matic which was fully serviced in 2021. Unfortunately, whilst it runs great on a time grapher, it loses lots of time, a couple of hours a day, and the hands are loose move when setting the crown. Could this be a slipping canyon pinion?
That's exactly what it is.
Yay!
Period. That's exactly what it is, because you have the it's a friction fit over the tube for the center wheel, which goes through the main plate. It's like the drive shaft, and then the cannon pinion snaps onto that. And if the cannon pinion's worn, it's this turtle shaft can just turn. So yeah, that's exactly the problem. Good thinking.
Dennis Salg 1171. I love that stubby look of the case and crown at 3. It's the same look some KS or GS had, and some 7005, 7006. I wish Seiko brought it back on their more affordable offerings. Only GS has something similar these days.
I don't know. I mean, it's a matter of personal preference. Talking about sort of the stubbiness, the Bell-Matics, because it's a thick dinner mint of a movement. They're big,
I have seen them.
I know, but they've got these really short, little stubby little things, and so it makes it look kind of hockey puckish. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if they were a little, little just a hair longer, give it a little balance out the size and the weight of that movement and make it fit larger to Western wrists. But
I guess to me, it's just like, I don't know, it's cute. Like, it's a cute, chubby cat.
oh, I hadn't thought of it that way.
I don't know, that's what, because they're not like manly and they're not thin dress watches. They're like, I don't know, they're fun and cute.
Well, it's got a fat body and short little legs. It could be the Pongo or Dachshund. Yeah, I don't.
CMB 8589.
Oh. I'm so sorry. You talked about Seiko bringing it back. Well, the problem with bringing back something amazing like the Bell-Matic is they would have to. It was a high-end piece, and it would be extremely expensive to bring back. And you can buy Bell-Matic complete watches for $100 online. So it's just not the thing.
You know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to buy them, and then they're going to want you to repair them, and then you're going to just be like screaming every day about how you're never going to work on another Bell-Matic ever again because they're so annoying.
Yeah, they're actually Bell-Matics to work on. They're the top of my price list for servicing because they are. Thing about Bell-Matics, they're beautifully made, but like some designer within Seiko, their sort of movement design was just in love with the idea of springs. Springs supporting levers held down by another spring with shepherd's crook free springs that can go this way. Like the keyless works, it looks like an aerial photograph of like a major highway interchange. It's like all this stuff that's in there. It's one of the few models, in fact, no, it's the only Seiko movement model that I am currently aware of that the main failing of it is that it starts overbanking because the balance starts pushing so far, it rotates all the way around. It goes bunk, bunk, overbanking. And so in order to cure that problem, you have to use lubricant on the pinions of the pallet fork because at that scale, lubricant acts like grease and it slows it down. So
Wait, the grease slows it.
Viscosity. It's all about viscosity.
But grease is slippery.
Right, but at the scale, it's so fine, and you have surface tensions that it acts as a braking material. It eats up friction at that scale.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Actually, and this is crazy. That is the specified cure by Seiko in the servicing guide. If overbanking, it says, I don't know, it's an astonishingly good movement. It's persnickety though.
Okay, CMB 8589. The 4006-6070 Arabic dial came in either black with white numerals or white with black numerals. I have an original white version and fitted on its original chiclet style bracelet. I have the blue dial 6070 from the Seiko brochure you showed, and the bracelets are nice also. I think yours is a Franken of the two Arabic dialed versions, but once tidied up will make a nice watch. The linen dialed silver 4006-6011 you have is lovely. I am searching for one as I have the gray and blue versions.
Oh, okay. Well,
we're still talking about Bell-Matics?
We are still talking about Bell-Matics.
I haven't talked like this about any kind of Seiko watch, and I don't even know how long. It's like, gotta collect them all, and it's not a screaming, lots of money, and everything's cool.
If it was just they're fantastic. They're a fantastic bargain. People are like, every time I talk about them, in fact, most of Seiko at this time, in the late 60s and early 70s, the stuff that Seiko was doing absolutely blew away anything Rolex was doing. I'm not exaggerating in the least, not at all. Seiko's production at this time was stellar and totally unique. The problem with the Bell-Matics isn't the tech, it's for me anyway, they're either super conservative and to me kind of, not super exciting to look at, or they're just nuts. But not necessarily nuts in a good way. Think of all the things that Seiko could have integrated that movement into, because, wearing one, surprisingly, the alarm function comes in handy. The last time I wore one, I actually ended up using it like a couple, 2-3 times a day to just remind myself of stuff. Like, I didn't have to, like, say, hey, Siri, and, oh, good, she didn't say anything. I didn't want to say anything like that.
Oops. Sorry.
She just moved.
No, that was my feet.
In any case, what was I talking about?
Bell-Matics.
What was I saying about them?
That they either look really boring or really crazy.
I wish they had some kind of midline stuff.
I want to see pictures of all of them. How can I do that? Because I want to figure out which ones I like, because they're so different.
Well, I was looking through the catalogs, because I was looking at bracelets. I haven't yet found... There are websites that are like the Bell-Matic site. Because, like, when I came on the scene, in like 2008... Bell-Matics were such a big deal, they had their own sub-forum within the forum.
I kind of remember that.
Right.
Yeah, because you didn't really know how to fix things yet, and you'd be like, those are scary.
Yeah, well, and they still are. Back in those days, the Bell-Matic forum was its own forum on What You Seek, and this, as was the Seiko thing. And so when those guys were like, go to hell, What You Seek, we're going to make our own Seiko board with blackjack and hookers. They went and did that, but they didn't want to leave the Bell-Matic dudes behind. So they said, will you please come with us? And they said, sure, but we get our own subforum and our own moderators.
Wow.
But that's what it was like then. These days, people just don't talk about them as much as they...
Well, I want to see a bunch of pictures of them. I want to see the wacky. I want to see the nut, because I see them in pieces most of the time. Occasionally we'll have them like being repaired. I want to see the crazy. I want to see the boring. I want to have an opinion.
There's Bell-Matic sites because they were really hot back then. So they do exist. I was looking for catalog pictures last night, but I didn't find... The way Seiko would do it, the catalogs, is 1970 volume 1, 1970 volume 2, blah, blah, blah. They would be, even over concurrent years, they would look almost identical, but then certain models would be switched out. So you have to scroll through 130 pages of, not the watches that you're looking for in order to try to see what they've got.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if there's like pictures, not the catalog, because I knew that was going to be the case.
What would be neat is to be able to go through all that stuff and put all the catalog pictures for all the Bell-Matics, all the 6139s together in a single thing, so you could simply look at them like that.
It doesn't exist?
I don't know.
Does it exist?
I haven't heard of anything, but it might. Remember, I'm an idea man.
Road Gent 7921. Oh, this is the video for RD 7548 7000 or 700C. Okay. This person said, question for a mail call. You said a while back you could take a 7548 apart and then put it back together blindfolded, maybe. How about it?
No. I mean, I think that was a reasonable use of hyperbole. I mean, if you took 2 7548s and dumped all the parts together in a bowl, I could build 2 movements. That's easy, not a problem. You could, if I was going to brag, I bet you I could, if I dumped a 7015 or a 7016 chronograph movement, Dynie, completely disassembled in a parts holder, and a SUA 6139 in the same one. So all the parts are mixed up, I could put them back together.
I think we have a future video.
Maybe. I mean, it's a lot of effort to go through to prove the point.
I guess.
I mean,
I mean, Tom Brady didn't retire forever because he had to prove a point.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I actually have a 6139 that I've been thinking about restoring, and I actually have a 7015 that I'm
This
thinking
wasn't
about.
pre-planned.
Was not pre-planned. I've been looking at both those watches, and I was like, one's a 6139 7020, and the 7015 is a 7015 6020 Time Sonar. But that would be the test. Can I do it?
I think it's funny.
You know, I might have some difficulty. I'm judging myself and saying, imagining going through it, and hey, I didn't have any problems in my imagination. Cool, everything went great. But I don't know what would actually happen.
I guess.
I'm fairly confident, though.
Or how, I don't know what, I know what a 6139 is. I don't know what the other one is.
It's the brown dialed one that has, like, you could see through the dial and you can kind
Oh,
of...
yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Overdue review time, son, I think you.
This is Time Sonar. It's yesterday's review of that watch, the Time Sonar.
He deleted a couple letters. Ask Tony C. Or is it Ask to NYC?
I thought it was Tony NYC. See, look, you kind of smashed them together.
Maybe.
We actually haven't heard from you for a while, man. How you doing? I was thinking about you actually a couple weeks ago. I hope you're well and everything's ducky.
With regard to looming the hands, it would drive me crazy if there were no reference loom indexes somewhere on the dial or the bezel at the 12 o'clock position. Thanks for educating me, Spencer. This is my first time seeing this reference.
Oh, cool. Well, I hope it's a good education. It's worth every penny you're paying. So, you know, demand your whatever. But yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I would do it if I could, because the glow's going to be pretty minimal. I'm talking like a pinhead. Like, I would want at least every 10 minutes, but I agree with you. Just seeing hands floating in the darkness it's uncool.
True Blue Miata. Hi, Spencer. That 7828 looks like son of Pogue, very sharp.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Actually, what I wanted to do was insert a segment here showing those two watches side by side.
Okay.
I'm going to do that. Okay. There we are, side by side. True Pogue and the 7828 Pogue. This one's really pale. This is an early dial. Later on, they get a little bit more, pronounced in terms of their sort of golden yellowy thing. Also, I'm not quite sure why Seiko chose to do this, but they did these hands orange rather than that red. I sometimes wonder how they'd look if those were red. Also, main difference being is it looks like it has a chapter ring, like a rotating indicator ring like this one, but it doesn't. It just looks like it. What time is it currently? We've got 6:27, 5:27, 6:27. Yeah, about halfway. Yeah. Well, call that good for now. Today is Friday. It is the 25th. Yeah. I'm going to try something for fun. Okay. Oh, I didn't give it enough power. Come on, wake up. Wake up. Okay. This one's been asleep for a little while. Okay, so let's give her some power, because this is how you do it. This is what Seiko says. This is exactly how it's supposed to be done. Ready? Hang. Oh, darn it. Okay, so let's try it. Are you ready? Look at that. Whoops. That one reset. I just restarted this one. Oh, I didn't stop it. Would you stop? There. The reason you saw that ragged return is because I make the springs on these light. Because I don't want to overstress anything. Yeah, that hand is it misaligned? Well, that looks dead on to me. In any case, there they are. Together again for the first time. Crazy that only 13 years separates these watches. 1971, 1983, 12 years. Only 12 years between these two. Huh, cool. Anyway, thank you. And we're back.
Salty crabs. So is the Caseback retention ring design on the 7015-6020 similar to what Vostok dive watches use?
As far as I understand it, yeah, it's the same thing. Diney loved doing this. Instead of a single piece screw down, the whole thing's a screw down, they would have a plate with an index tab that indexed into the case, and the plate kind of, if you look cross-section, it's like the Caseback section, and then it goes down and out, like so. And then it has a separate screw-down ring that forces the Caseback into the Caseback seal into the case itself. So it's that same system, yeah. I tried the last time I did a Time Sonar. That gentleman, who actually he has a question here. That gentleman, his Caseback was really cracked. That plastic was the crazing was really going nuts, and I was like, "There's got to be. It's a 7000 series 2-piece Caseback. I should absolutely be able to find a metal version of this Caseback and make it solid." Nope. Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist?
Not that I can find. Not any of my crap. I mean, I can, if I had the right kind of stamping and machining tools, I could make one, but I don't.
Okay. Now from mail call last time. The same person asked Tony or 2NYC. Spencer somehow tricked me into looking up Ammonites. Well, I learned a few new things today. Thank you, Mr. Klein. And there is a movie called Ammonite about lesbians.
It's about paleontology, but it also involves the two main characters because it's based on a real life event. An English lady in the late 1800s was she was a pioneer in paleontology in England.
I just remembered, you've never seen it. It's so funny. British people will probably know what I'm talking about. He's this British comedian that he's on a British baking show now, but he's bald, and he sang this whole song about lesbians, and I just, sorry. You don't. If you know what I'm talking about, great.
Okay, was there a question? Oh, no.
No.
Ammonites. Ammonites. One of the cool things about Ammonites is they had a pretty shortened sort of species, like how they made their shells. They could actually go through the evolution of their shell changes actually pretty quickly. It's wild. Like they would just have to change the angle of their body, and the tube would go a different way. It was really interesting. Really, really, really wild stuff. So I'm glad you enjoyed your Ammonite adventure.
Super Cruise, regarding your comment about tightening hand tubes on 6138, 6139 sweeps and subdial hands, I have found using a pin vise works well for this task, but you need to take care not to apply too much pressure. Really have to learn the feel through doing it a few times. If you do happen to close the tube a bit too much, you can always use a small smoothing broach to open up the end a bit. Works well for me.
Yeah, thank you for that. I remember the first time I had a 6139 hand tube and it hadn't gotten squished, and I read similar advice to that. Oh, just tighten it up a bit, and if it's too much, you just broach it out, and it ruined the hand. And since then, I haven't brought a broach. There's probably a few times I've done it, but I've been extraordinarily careful. The one thing with 6139s and 6138s is that they're keyed to the pinion, so the pinion actually has a flat side. So and the tube is round, is a round tube. So when you force it down onto the tapered pinion and that flat side, it locks itself in place. So you've got to try to keep that. So that's the only thing I ever worry about that. But I wouldn't want to broach it because it might destroy that keying. That's just my take on it.
Okay. Watching Brief 7072. Good to see you both. Quick question regarding the 7016 Seiko Monaco, if I may. Is it true that you need a special tool to remove the subdial hands? Not many folk want to service these grails.
The subdial hands on those, it's, you know what, I'll just put in a really quick segment about this, because it's better that I show them, because those actually are kind of weird.
Yeah, I kind of remember you complaining about it.
Yeah, it's because you've got this big-ass pinion. It's almost like a barrel. And then you have the flat of the hand is just sort of pressed into place. Like it's like the barrel comes up and it sort of necks in, it's a little tighter, and then the hand sits on top of that. But the hand is not, it's not really, like that inside edge isn't rolled over to hold it. I don't know why. So you go in there with a regular set of hand removers, and what almost always happens is you just pull off the flat part, leaving the tube behind, sitting on the tube. So you have to be very careful. I mean, to the point of using the dual tools you use for getting collets off of balances. Those are probably better as long as you protect the dial. That's probably one of the, I don't know. All I can say is just be careful. But I guess I'll show some of that stuff.
Okay, I pulled out my 7000 material here. This is really the only one we need to see, though. So this is a 7016, missing its hands. So this top, you see it's got stacked hands. Maybe that's better. So, okay, so you got stacked hands there. Now, the middle one, that's just a regular, normal hand. It's a little hand on a hand tube. Very, very, very normal. Just boop, pull it off. That one down there, like I said, it's like barely attached. It's just sitting on top of that tube. And that hand top surface is really easy to pop off. It's just, it's tough to do. I don't know. I need to service. I've been thinking about servicing this one for years. I could make it look a little nicer. I don't know why it doesn't have hands, but yeah, look at how thick these are. Same as the Bell-Matic, actually, kind of in the way in terms of its scale. Stubby little stubs. One of these days I'm going to have to redo this. I have the pieces to do it. Not sure about the handset, and I'm pretty sure I have the bracelet. No, that looks pretty good. That's tempting too, isn't it? I don't know, that might be pretty neat. Mightn't it? I don't know, maybe. How about that's a challenge? Let's see if I can build a 7016 movement for this thing. I think that'd be cool. That'd be a nice challenge.
Come on now. She says the jujubes and juji fruits are two different things, but I want jujubes. I've had jujubes. Doesn't the box say jujubes?
No, it says juji fruit.
This whole time I've been lied to.
I just call them jujubes.
Do they not have jujubes down the way?
I don't know, but I just call them that because I like saying jujubes more than juji fruits.
I really want some. I want the real thing. I don't want juji fruits. I want a man's candy.
Okay. Leo Crespi. Spencer, what happens if a 7548 7010 gets reassembled without the spring underneath the quote-unquote ball on which the bezel rotates? Does the bezel become loose?
There's two things at play there. If there's no spring, then the ball is not forced up from underneath the case to contact the cutouts, the whatever the heck they're called. And so that's not there. It'll just smoothly rotate. What makes it loose is if the O-ring gasket inside the rotating ring is bad or missing. In that case, that thing provides dampening and it holds it in place. And if it's not there, it's going to go rattly. And if it's really old and hard, it could go rattly. In fact, we could talk about the O-ring and the rotating ring and the case being a demonstration of what happens at the scale of putting lubricant on the pallet fork pivots. Gives you these two things being slowed down by a material that's in between them. That's an extreme example, though. What do we got going on there, Home Slice?
Nothing. I'm telling her where the sour cream is. Wannabe Sailor 777 Smith 6. Hello, Spence. I love your videos.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question about a Seiko 6139 6002 that I bought way back in 1977.
Wow.
I just had it restored and had a terrible experience.
I'm
It
sorry.
took a year, and I don't think he even regulated it. I have a time grapher, and I think I can do it myself. However, I'd like to know if I should regulate the rate first or the beat error. Both are way out of whack.
Oh, I hope the watch didn't come from here. I don't think it did, but first thing you got your tripod of accuracy. You ready for your tripod of accuracy? The first leg of the tripod is amplitude. You gotta have good amplitude. 6139s. They're a little loose and they tend to run a little slower or a little lower. So I want to see minimum 225, 230 out of those. Up to like the 240s and the 250s is fine. You start getting into the 260s, 270s, unless the watch is like brand new and completely unworn, that gets to the point where it might actually be indicating a problem. So first, amplitude. Then, how I deal with it, if I find out where the beat error is supposed to be, I get rid of that. And I start incrementally moving it like once, and I see if the beat error closes or goes wider, and then keep adjusting that down until you have, until you've achieved, ideally, perfection in beat error. But, get it better. If it gets to the point where you're moving the that arm with the stud in it, moving the hairspring to bring the get rid of the beat error, you might significantly affect the rate. So sometimes I'll go and if I'm pulling it back and the watch really starts going up, I'll drop the rate, then I'll go back to dealing with beat error. But amplitude, beat error, accuracy. Because if you don't have amplitude,
That's it.
oh,
Sorry, I'm playing a game. I forgot what we were doing.
well, we're saying thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week, but it's been a fun week.
Mm-hmm.
I know people. I have a ton of like projects that I made the first half of the video for, but I haven't made the second. There's gonna be a 7015 video. I have to finish repairing my Junghans bench clock.
Well, yeah, but you need to make sure that you're not going to get, like, irradiated. So you're not touching that yet.
Right, that's the thing. I need to get a Geiger counter. I want to get a Geiger counter. I've actually wanted to get one for years. I don't think they're that expensive. Mm-hmm. That's right, because I've got it boxed up. I mean, that thing has a lot of radium on it. And it's fine if it's not disturbed, but yes, you're right. I forgot about that part.
Right.
But anyway, I have a lot of projects I want to do. Like, I also want to rip apart that new Bell-Matic and try to decide if I'm going to keep it as it is or put it back to what it was.
Okay.
Okay. All right, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.
Bye.